What's going on YouTube, Diggy546? Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. So I saw, first of all, a horrible article written by CBS Sports. And I think we need to call out CBS Sports at this point. I don't know who the particular author was, but way too many times I've seen CBS Sports write articles that have no credence behind them, that make no sense, that are pretty much making the worst takes. I mean, there were articles that had the Giants taking Elijah Moore at 11. CBS Sports is always so far off the mark. I'm just convinced they're trying to be controversial at this point. But CBS Sports is not really. They're losing credibility because once you go so far off of the limb to where it starts to not make any sort of common sense, you're leaning towards the wrong direction in my point. I try to keep things somewhat realistic on my channel. I mean, I definitely speculate sometimes, but I try to make realistic speculation. Anyway, CBS Sports 2 days ago now came out with an article saying that the Giants will probably or are rumored to be trading Jabrill Peppers, or they should trade Jabrill Peppers. It was something along the lines of that. And trading Jabrill Peppers makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure their reasoning is that Jabrill Peppers is in his last year. He's going to cost some money if he has another year like how he did last year. And the Giants probably aren't in a position to pay him because we just paid those two guys we brought in. More notably, Kenny Golladay and Adoree Jackson. James Bradberry is coming up soon if we want to keep him. Daniel Jones, if he has a great year, we're going to have to look at paying him down the road. Saquon, we're going to have to look at paying him within the next 2 years. If not, he'll get the franchise tag, and you know how they do it running backs. But there are a ton of other players we have to pay. So they're thinking that Jabrill Peppers may be the odd man out. So that's logical. But to say that they would trade Jabrill Peppers before the season, are you kidding me? This Giants defense last year was eighth. It was eighth in the league, I'm pretty sure, somewhere in the top 10. They were up there amongst the best defenses in the league, especially in the second half of that season. Once they really started clicking, they were really among the best defenses in the entirety of the league. And you know why they were among the best defenses? It wasn't because of a tremendous pass rush. Yes, Leonard Williams had his stretches, but he's one guy. And he got neutralized at times because he was one guy, and they were able to allocate a lot of resources towards him. And that's what we're hoping Azeez Ojulari can come and fix that. Looking back at the Giants defense, it wasn't the pass rush. Partially James Bradberry. He was definitely a huge addition to the Giants defense. But the biggest thing is the secondary overall. Blake Martinez was a great addition too, but the secondary overall was a strength. And it's an even bigger strength this year. And when I say secondary, I don't mean just both the corners, but Bradberry along with the safety tandem that we had there. Logan Ryan and Jabrill Peppers. I have a film session on it. You guys should check it out. Logan Ryan and Jabrill Peppers last year were masterful at the safety spots. And Julian Love, most of the time, was a deep safety. Didn't let anything go over the top. So props to Julian Love because he didn't get enough credit for playing that deep safety role and not giving up anything over the top. But Logan Ryan and Jabrill Peppers were those guys who were kind of in that, 5, 10, 15-yard range of the line of scrimmage. And they moved around and did so many things at a high level. They tackled at a high level. They diagnosed and made plays. They made a lot of game-changing plays for us. And their coverage, more specifically at the tight ends and the short routes, it was great. And Jabrill Peppers was basically our nickel backer. Blake Martinez was in there most of the time. But right beside Blake Martinez, a lot of times Jabrill Peppers was just your other nickel backer. So why would you get rid of that in a season where you're saying your quarterback is in a prove year? or everybody in the world is saying that. You're saying that you've put enough resources in this team to where you think that they can finally make a playoff run, finally get into the playoffs. You're saying all of this, but you just trade away one of your starters who's a proven guy who can help you make that, get to the playoffs. Because guess what? Giants fans should know more than anyone. Once you get into the playoffs, anything is possible. So what if you make it to the playoffs, you squeak into the playoffs, without Jabrill Peppers, and there's just a couple of plays that he would have made, but he's not there anymore. He's in, who knows? I was going to say Dallas because they need a safety, but who knows where we would trade him to? Well, we obviously wouldn't trade him to Dallas, but who knows where he would be while we needed those plays, while we needed those plays to be made by Jabrill Peppers. It makes absolutely no sense to trade this man when he's needed for the season that we want to have. It makes no sense at all. And I wanted to kind of transition this. The only time it will make any sense to trade Jabrill Peppers in this final year and Evan Ingram, they're both in contract years. There's no coming back after this without another deal or a franchise tag. So if we think that we're probably not going to be re-signing them at the end of the year, and the Giants start off with some ridiculous record like 1-4, or I don't remember when our bye week is. I'm pretty sure it's kind of in the middle of the season. But if we're at that midpoint in the season or at that trade deadline, we're pretty much looking like we're going to have another season like last year or the year before, where we're probably looking at max, 6-7 wins. At that point, maybe it makes sense to trade Jabrill Peppers and get some things back. But Joe Judge has made it very clear that he doesn't like trading leaders on the team in the middle of the season. He thinks it's not good for player morale. He thinks it's not good for that. And I kind of would agree. So he doesn't even agree with trading players in the middle of the season. Now that makes sense from a business standpoint because you would get those picks back from him. And at the same time, you would also, be able to just keep playing like everything and get those picks. Now, trading Jabrill Peppers at the trade deadline would make sense from a business standpoint, but it might not be good for the player morale. So I don't see that happening either way. So if Jabrill Peppers is not coming back to the Giants in 2022, which is it's millions of years away from now, and football years, I mean, that's so long away. But if he's not coming back in 2022, it's because of his contract, and he signed another contract with another team. I don't think we're going to trade Jabrill Peppers anywhere. It doesn't make any sense at all. So now I'll kind of give my opinion. Do I think that Jabrill Peppers should be back in 2022? I'm not sure. I've been up and down on this. And it's not any gripe I have with Jabrill Peppers as a player. I think he's a great safety. I think he has the potential to be, a top safety in this league. I think he already is on that trajectory. But you can kind of replace safeties. Xavier McKinney is someone we drafted with the premium pick. Logan Ryan is someone we just paid him pretty well. I mean, he's getting paid pretty well every year. So we're already paying two safeties. We just, use the premium pick on one and we're paying the other one. We have a ton of picks at the top of the draft next year. You got guys like Jordan Battle out of Bama, Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. I think that we will be able to draft someone who could give us similar production to Jabrill Peppers within their first couple of years. So that's going to be an option in Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge's heads as they go out and make that decision. Do we want to re-sign Jabrill Peppers? I think for me, if Jabrill Peppers goes out and has an all-pro type season where he looks like he's the best safety in the league or top 2 in the league, and he just looks that great, then yeah, re-sign him. Do whatever you have to do after that to re-sign other guys. But re-sign Jabrill Peppers because that is a can't-miss player. But if Jabrill Peppers has another season last year, like what I consider to be a Pro Bowl season, which is really good, but not like, game-changing, like ridiculous play after ridiculous play kind of season, then I'm kind of comfortable with moving on. Now, do I want him back? Of course. In a perfect world, yeah. But paying a safety premium money to me is kind of difficult, especially when it's a box safety. So that's just my opinion on that. I do not right now think that Jabrill Peppers will be back in 2022 because I just don't think the numbers work out. But if he's back, I think it's because he had a really, really tremendous season. But CBS Sports in general is kind of ridiculous for saying that we would trade him before the season even starts, because he's going to be a valuable part of this defense for this 2021 season. I mean, he's going to be a valuable part of this defense. So it makes no sense to get rid of him. So we're going to be using a lot of 3 safety packages with him, McKinney, Julian Love, him, McKinney, Logan Ryan. So I can't wait to watch him this season. Hopefully it's not his last season as a Giant, but I'm pretty sure he's going to stay a Giant for at least the rest of 2021. You guys let me know what you think of possibly trading him. And do you think he'll be back in 2022? If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.